I understand the severity of my crime, and I have no idea what sort of penalty I may face. But I am begging to the Korean people and government for my forgiveness, and I am praying to the heavens so that I may be returned home to my family.
Please, I have made the worst mistake of my life, but please, act to save me. Think of my family.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, heartbreaking. Otto Warmbier, U.S. College student, just recently sentenced to 15 years of hard labor in North Korea because of the fact that he stole a propaganda poster from the hotel he was staying at in North Korea. Joining us now is Bill Richardson, former governor of New Mexico, former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, former U.S. Secretary of Energy, and of course, Governor, you've played such an instrumental role in the past in getting prisoners released from North Korea. Welcome aboard. I understand that you did meet with representatives of North Korea here in the States.
I did, Steve. I met with them 2 days ago at the New York mission of the United Nations. I met with two of their diplomats. And I urged them to release Otto on humanitarian grounds to separate the bad relationship the U.S. has with North Korea and South Korea and do a sensible release on humanitarian grounds.
And this was before the sentencing, I presume, correct?
It was. It was the day before. And this is a familiar pattern, Steve. The North Koreans apprehend Americans. Then they deny them access to consular services. Then they have forced confessions. That confession you heard
Sure.
of the young man of Otto, 21 years old, a kid who, college prank, was a forced confession, and they make him apologize. The next step is a sentence, hard labor, 15 years, totally outrageous. But then the good news may be that they're ready to negotiate. They can say their legal process is over. And so what you want to do is establish the basis for negotiation for his release on humanitarian grounds, but the North Koreans will always want something in return.
All right,
this is a familiar pattern.
Right. No, absolutely. So you're not discouraged that after your meeting at the United Nations with their representatives that this 15-year hard labor sentence came down. You kind of expected that, correct?
Oh, yeah. I expected that. This has happened in the detainment of at least the last 4 or 5 Americans that have been detained. The last one being Kenneth Bay,
right,
who was released about 6 months ago. Now, this is a familiar pattern. They can now say that their legal process is over. A court has sentenced the young man. And then this is the time when diplomacy and negotiation takes place. The problem, Steve, is that we don't know much about this new leader of North Korea. He's very unpredictable. He's unsure of himself. He's killing off a lot of his political opposition. And so he's a hardliner. His father used to negotiate on these things, but it's uncertain what this man is going to do next. He's
right.
shooting missiles. He's shooting nuclear weapons.
I was going to bring that up also. So you've never talked to him? You've never met him?
Never talked to him.
Yeah.
I went to North Korea 3 years ago with Eric Schmidt of Google. We asked to meet with him. He wouldn't meet with us.
Yeah.
Instead, shortly thereafter, he met with Dennis Rodman, the basketball player.
Right.
So maybe I should switch professions.
Well, would you consider, I don't know, saying I'll come over with Dennis Rodman? Would you consider that if that got you, gained you entree to him?
Yeah, I would go. I offered to go. I think the main negotiating channel has to be the State Department, our government.
Yeah,
and they're doing that. They're working hard.
But you would go if it was determined that going with Dennis Rodman would help you gain access and sit down with the leader. You would go with him.
I would go.
Yeah,
I would go.
That's interesting.
I would go, but you don't know what this man is up to, Steve. He won't meet with the Chinese. He doesn't meet with Americans, South Koreans. He's isolated. He seems that he's under siege by his own family, his party. So he does these hardline steps like the nuclear explosion or a missile test that he just did.
Right. Yesterday we had the ballistic missile. Yeah.
This American young man who is a college prank.
Yeah.
But they use them as bargaining chips. And
What do you
this
think
is
they
what
want?
this young-
If you had to guess, in the past, you know what they've wanted through negotiate. What do you think, briefly, do you think they'd be looking for from the U.S. at this point?
They want a high-level visit, probably a President Clinton, Jimmy Carter, somebody. I've offered to go, but I'm small potatoes compared to those guys. But I've gotten people out.
Yes.
But this time, they want somebody like that, or they want humanitarian assistance of some kind, rice, food. They're starving there.
Right.
Steve, you don't know. You don't know what this young man wants. He doesn't want to talk to the U.S.
Yep.
He doesn't want to talk to South Korea. He doesn't want to talk to China. China gives them a lot of money and a lot of energy.
Well, Governor, I tell you what,
I
tell you what, I pray for that family. I pray for that young man. But it's good that that you're on their side and out there, and I hope you do get to go, and I hope we do get this man released. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Steve.
Great to talk to you,
All
sir.
the best.
You too.
Take care.
Up next, former U.S. Senator Alan Simpson weighs in on the Republicans and the capture of a wanted terrorist in Belgium. Don't go away.